Welcome back to another episode of As a Man Thinketh. I'm Trey.
And Goolsby.
We're ready to go for another episode. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to pick up this book. We have been going through a few chapters. I don't even know what chapter we're on right now.
I think it's considered 3.
Leave a comment under the post and somewhere if you are reading along with us. If you have any questions or like to share your thoughts, that's what it's there for. Where you want to go today?
Yeah, well, okay, so the 2 chapters we really hit were the effect of thought on the health and the body. And then the second chapter, or the 4th chapter in this book, is thought and purpose. And so effective thought on body was literally, in mine, like 2 pages.
Yeah.
That was it. And then thought and purpose was a page or 2 as well. So we'll kind of blend them in because it's all rooted in the same space, which is thoughts.
Yes.
And in this case, I do want to read the first sentence of or the first 2 sentences of effective thought on health and body. And it says, the body, and it's like in huge print in mine, the body is the servant of the mind.
Right.
It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed.
Yep.
So notice he says the mind. He didn't say the brain.
Nope.
Right? So the body is a physical manifestation. We can touch it, we can feel it, whatnot.
Indeed.
The mind is this ephemeral thing that most people confuse for, I guess, your brain too. Let me speak for me. I used to be like the mind and the brain were one and the same.
Gotcha.
But now for me, I believe the brain receives signals from the mind. So it's almost like a transmitter. Like it's transmitting the information that's coming in from wherever.
Gotcha.
Which I probably be going left field, but that's how I believe. So when it says the body is a servant of the mind, that literally for me was like, okay, my body is being controlled by things I cannot see. That's the first thing, the way I look at it. Okay. Because I was like, is this even true? Like, why should I believe what this man is saying?
Right.
You know? So that's where I kind of began. And it made me think, well, there's certain things we do naturally, certain things you say and don't even know why you say, you just kind of do it. You know what I do a lot now is if I say something to my like, I'm sorry. Like I'll say, you'll say something about, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. And I'm like, why am I saying that?
Oh, man, you feel like you are offending people a lot?
It's okay. One is, to some degree, it's offense. Okay. But another degree, it was like, I didn't mean that thing like that.
Gotcha.
So maybe it is all an offense, maybe. Okay. Because you're not going to hear me say I'm sorry or my bad too much. I'm just saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's just where I'm at. It's just, you're going to take it the way you take it. If you have a question, you can ask me.
Yeah.
Like, did you mean to offend me? Oh, no, I did not. But just even starting in that realm of thought and what that does to my body, because thoughts, here we go, produce or activate hormones. So you see, and I know I'm gonna go left field again. You see
left field, by the way, is where most of the home runs are. So keep going.
Yeah. So we're gonna go that way. So you see a nice young lady let's say at a bar or a restaurant or just out in these streets. And you say, ooh, there's a signal that is sent. There are multiple signals going on in your body. And different things start to arise. Not like that all the way. I'm not saying like that.
Listen, I am not cleaning you up. So you just cleaned yourself up.
Right.
I didn't do anything. I'm just letting you ride.
I wasn't going to say, my bad, I'm sorry, nothing. Because I mean what I'm saying.
Roll on. Keep going.
So there are different chemical things happening in your body.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, there's truth to this, because I may not even be thinking, especially remember, and I know I'm being very male right now, very adolescent, because when you're growing up and you have to stand in front of a classroom and the teacher's like, stand up, and you're like, nope, I'm not standing up, because there are certain chemical things happening in my body that I ain't even trying to explain. So I was like, So I was using that as source reference to say, okay,
Yeah.
maybe there's some truth to this.
Gotcha.
So I know I kind of started off that way, but that's where I began.
Keep going. Keep going. No, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm letting you ride.
All
Brother.
right,
I'm letting you
cool.
ride. Let's do it.
Cool. So knowing this, it says in the second paragraph, disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this is where I had that little speed bump
Okay.
because I get it, and so I have this agreement and disagreement, or this slight quibble with this, because it'll get us into. Because he continues on the conversation like it's almost like because we are having ill thoughts that we have illness,
Right.
and
Okay.
maybe, but also. I think a couple of episodes ago, we talked about people coughing in your face. Now, I don't know. People coughing in your face, people sneezing in your face, or you touching something that you know is terrible and you licking your fingers. That is not necessarily you having ill thoughts. So I think that's some of the quibbles I have with that disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Mm-hmm. Now, because that also just, again, I think I just have I have a good amount of pushback on that. But I understand also on the other side that the other part of this is like where if you're a hypochondriac, mm-hmm. you believe that you are feeling a certain way, mm-hmm. Or you believe you have this particular, and you start to manifest those particular symptoms of what you believe.
Right.
Now, there's also the other part of this where we talk about the placebo and the no placebo. I think
nocebo.
Nocebo.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like somebody's nickname.
Don't it? Nocebo.
And so the idea there is, again, thinking about the illness, and they're using a process of like, even when I think they were doing a study on like cancer and visualization, mm-hmm. of seeing the tumor disappear, and imagining that regularly, and it starts to dissipate. It's really interesting, mm-hmm. When you watch that. So there's two sides of this coin, but I wanted to make sure that for everyone, from my thinking, definitely, like it's not all. I don't find that to be completely fully true.
Right. Okay. Well, and I'm with you, because mm-hmm. what I don't want to do is it's a combination of things, right? Yeah. In order to understand something else, you empty your cup. Yeah. At least that's what I have to do. Yeah. So I can really get the taste of what that thing is.
Sure.
And so I buy into it. However, everything you just said, I'm actually with, because that kind of makes sense. Okay. Some people get hurt, or some people get sickness, and they don't have any idea, mm-hmm. Of how that happened. Mm-hmm. I think about when I got hurt. I had sciatica back in high school. Okay. And that's when I realized, like, oh, this is why people want to die. You know what I mean? Right. Standing up hurt. Right. Sitting down hurt. Laying in the bed hurt. I'm walking around the high school in 10th grade with a pillow. Yeah. So at Southwest DeKalb, yeah, I'm putting all my business out there.
You didn't get roasted?
I was getting roasted.
Oh, okay.
But hey, I had the game too. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting comfortable in my seat with my pillow. But the pain was excruciating. But when I go back and really think about where my mind was, what led me up to that, because it wasn't necessarily I was having ill thoughts in that moment. Right. I think everything I've been holding in since childhood was finally starting to come out, and my body didn't know how to deal with that. And it was in my core, in my basis, which was very symbolic of me and how my relationship was, especially with my pops. And I'll be bringing up dad a lot, and I love my dad. So we've had a lot of situations, but now we're in a great place. Yeah. But coming up, I was holding a lot right up in there. Mm-hmm. I remember at one point in time, I almost felt like it seemed like he thought I was always lying.
Were you always lying?
No, I wasn't
Oh, okay,
always
okay,
lying,
okay.
but I was
Mm-hmm.
maybe 80-20, like 20 not lying. No, 20
Oh,
no
okay.
lie. 20 no lie. 20 no lie.
All right,
80%. And so what I'm saying is I didn't know how to manifest. So I got this story where I tell where basically my dad, he was always trying to, my mom went home, he was cooking me some eggs, right?
Okay.
I didn't want to eat the eggs.
No.
Not that I didn't want them, they just didn't look right, right? So I eat the eggs, throw up the egg. My dad look at me like, boy, I eat them eggs. I ate the throw up eggs. Threw it up.
Oh man.
Then I end up drinking it. And it tastes a lot better than it would.
Okay.
Like,
No.
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm
Jeez
saying
Louise.
was I didn't know how to weigh or just discern
Yeah.
when to be like, I can't do this thing or I can do this thing. Or
Mm.
I feel like had I came home and been like, Dad, I got shot in the foot, he would have been like, oh, just go upstairs and take a bath. And then you like, oh,
walk it off.
right.
You still gotta walk it off.
Got
Yeah.
okay. And so what do you call that?
Buckshot or no? I'm sorry. Yeah.
But what is that called? It's not just discerning, and it's also not social cues. It's like certain social cue I don't know because from that experience that I had with my dad, it's like if you don't like something that I do for you,
Yeah.
I should hit you
Mm.
because he got upset, and I probably got hit. I don't remember. I've been through some things. So what I'm saying is, long story short, is my mind had thoughts, whether conscious or unconscious,
Mhm.
that I think affected my body ultimately. I know I just made a big leap, but what I'm saying is
Yeah.
from being a kid all the way up to junior high school, at that time, my whole body, like when I had the sciatica, I came back home from practice. I'll never forget. It looked like I was standing like this,
Mhm.
like that, but I was standing straight.
Mhm.
Shit was crazy.
Yeah.
But my whole body had been distorted. Like, well, where's my mind?
Well, a lot of that makes sense because there is, I mean, the reason why we get massages and you talk to your massage therapist, they'll tell you you got a lot of tension right here, and they're really good. They're like, so what's on your mind right now? And they'll work it as you are talking through it to help that particular release. Another therapy is if they know how to do like fascia release. Where they can like move and manipulate and open up scar tissue where you've held on, or let's say you've been tense most of your life, right? So you probably walk around with your shoulders tight,
Right.
and it stays in that moment because you've been so tense, or you've been holding certain things in your body. You tense up when you are having certain emotions, right? And so that creates a lot of injuries, actually just not having the flexibility.
Right.
And most people are not flexible, especially around the hip area.
Yep.
Right. And so we hold a lot of things in that center part of our body, which is interesting because that's also, again, the center part of your body. It's like if you can't move your center and your core, it becomes problematic for a whole bunch of other things.
Right.
So that actually makes a lot of sense. And I think if you haven't done, like, start looking at some ways to release, get a massage if you can, but figure out ways to kind of release the knots in your body because that also may be, and as you are releasing those things, start thinking about where that may have come from and just maybe even forgiving yourself, maybe even, releasing of shame, releasing of guilt, forgive those that have trespassed against you as well. And see what happens there, because that can be really beneficial for it. So that connects in that space too.
Right. And so, again, as reading this book, that's where my mind started going because I had never been in pain like that before. As a matter of fact, when people got injured in sports, I'd be like, it cannot be that bad until
it was that bad. Well, and again, reminding folks that like the body keeps score of everything that happens. I know we don't like to talk about that.
Right.
But the body keeps score also of what's going on mentally within you as well. So that's why it knows how to react when certain things are memory. So certain memories happen. Your body may feel it a little bit more. You may have something physiologically that happens, and physically that may happen. You may sweat from a memory that you had where you were nervous, anxious.
Right.
In today,
Which
is
right
crazy.
now.
Yeah.
It's like almost like time travel.
Yeah.
When you think about it. Yeah, in this chapter, it really just goes back to everything that we have learned throughout the book, which is you plant a seed.
See.
That thought.
Yeah.
And then what grows from that seed, that thought, comes into fruition.
For sure.
And so I feel like a byproduct, or not even just a byproduct, but another aspect of it is that you plant a mental seed, and it manifests as a physical thing. Whether you're being blessed, like with great skin and a luxurious beard, or pimples on your face, and you're like, where these pimples coming from? And you have multiple pimples, and you probably got multiple issues that you're dealing with in life, on top of these pimples that are just like, oh,
Yep.
and it's seen. And I feel like if we take these cues, then we can actually start to see. So when I got this pimple on my forehead as a 40, however old I am, 42-year-old dude, I'm like,
damn.
Right.
I'm sorry.
You got to do that harder than that.
I'm sorry.
You want to do it? I was going to say, we can do that again.
Yeah, no,
I'm a 42-year-old man with a pimple on my forehead. It's like, damn. Right?
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, I feel you.
But I like it.
I was a little
Right, but that's how you feel, though.
I was a little late on it. A little
Like,
late.
how you got a pimple
Yeah.
on my forehead?
Got the teenage pimple.
Teenage pimple.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, well, maybe I'm putting too much sugar in my body. Maybe I'm too many carbs.
Yep.
Because I'm exercising. And when I exercise, I feel like I could just get away with murder pretty much.
That's true. Can't run away from a bad diet, though.
You can't. Speaking of, segue us into the diet.
Yep.
He said that a man, change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. Right?
That's good.
Okay, so the way I literally took this was you can get on a diet for 6 weeks. And it can look like you're physically changing, but once you're off that diet, you just go back to where you were.
Right.
Like just as simply as put as that.
Yep.
And then oh yeah, you got something on that?
Yeah. So I think that makes sense because our thoughts tell us what we desire. Right.
Yep.
So if your thoughts are telling you what you like and don't like, what we favor and don't favor, then it's probably going to tell us what your diet's going to be. So if we know right now, we like sweet, salty, fatty, creamy, whatever it may be, those are the things that you're probably going to desire. Now, unfortunately, those particular categories, those particular tastes are not necessarily the best for your body. Right? You see folks with, sweet and salt all the time. This is like the American diet. We like fatty, we like sweets, we definitely like sweet, and we like salt.
Right.
And if you can literally draw a line to, well, figuratively draw a line to, the connection between those health disparities and health challenges that people are having. So if that makes sense in the idea that, your thoughts tell you what you desire. Your desires basically tell you what you like and don't like, which will also can help frame the diet for you. And then if you haven't made a shift in the thought, then you will always go back to and regress to the previous diet.
And when you say that, it made me say this. Okay, so the thought is, I want a Starburst.
Yeah.
The desire.
Strawberry.
Strawberry? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm cherry. So now I desire this cherry. And so now I eat the cherry.
Yeah.
And now I want more. And then I continue to hit that. And the reason I want more is because that dopamine, I believe it's the dopamine, the serotonin. I want to say it's dopamine that begins to surge through me because it's like, I want to
have that sensation again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need that satiation, please. Yeah. But it becomes unsatiated ultimately. Yeah. And then your stomach starts feeling crazy.
Yeah.
And then We need some water. Like your body wants water,
Mhm.
but you may not even drink it
Right.
for whatever reason.
Yep.
Well, I got to get in the car. I ain't trying to pee while I'm driving.
Right.
How many decisions have been made based off of I got to get in this car?
Yeah,
Right.
I got. Oh, yeah, I got to move. Well, see, I mean, that's why so much fast food, it makes sense too, because it's like, oh, what you gonna do? You're not gonna sit down. You got to move. You got to move.
Yep.
So we're gonna give you the fastest thing. It may not necessarily be the healthiest thing, but it's gonna give you the sweet. It's gonna give you the salt. It's gonna give you the fat.
That's what it does.
It's gonna give you high calories because that's what because you don't want to be hungry again 10 minutes later.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So we're gonna give you, we're gonna give you this honey bun that's 1,500 calories, which is, I know that honey bun. It's a good honey bun.
That's good.
But I just can't do that.
You right. You know what? Because he doesn't go into sacrifice, but ultimately what happens is you sacrifice the now for later. Who now later? But what I'm saying is that I will not eat this thing now so that I'll feel better later.
So that you can eat later.
Right. And can eat later.
Just be able to eat. Like you'll be in existence. Like if you don't eat this stuff right now,
right, you
can probably eat later. Period. Just think about that.
Right.
But I get it. You go into these spaces, you're like, oh man, it's just, and I actually think it's still okay to have those couple of meals here and there and try some things out. You just have to know, you have to be careful of that not becoming like a rhythm for you. Yeah. And like all of a sudden, I'm doing this 3-4 times a week. Now, I live very close to a Chick-fil-A. And I remember when I first moved over here to where we are today, I said, oh man, I was there like 3, and I didn't catch it. And I was like, I'm there like 3 times a week. Okay. Oh no. Oh man. It was bad because I'm sitting there like, what's going on with my body right now? No hate on Chick-fil-A, but I was like, what is going on? I'm eating fried chicken, French fries, shake, gotta get a cookie. But you know what I am, I'm healthy, so I gotta give me a kale salad on the side. Right. Because I'm trying to, and I'm like, what's going on? And it reminded me to make sure, one of the things I like to do is just do a lot of tracking and being mindful of what's going on. Again, the phrase I even sent out this morning was don't look at where you failed, look at where you slipped. And so you can start looking at tracking, okay, when I did this, I felt this way. Over the last month, I picked up this particular habit, which has probably caused me to feel this particular way. Exercise is the same, business is going well. Relationships are moving. Right. Financially, we're good. Right. So now I'm looking at what has changed in this moment. Diet has changed. And the diet, folks, is a big, what's going on in your gut determines a lot, or it actually interacts with what's going on in your mind. Right. Like we were already talking about. So think about that. I had to remember, oh man, I'm having this change in diet, which is now feeling like, why am I feeling down? What's going on? Right? What's the change? What's going on with me in that space? And so I don't know where I was going. I just can't remember.
Well, I think, and that is why you also say it conflicts with your thoughts, right? Because say you are like literally in your mind, you're like, hey man, life is great, but your stomach's hurting. You're like, what is it? Where is this coming from?
Yeah.
So, but again, he doesn't go into unconscious. He does mention that we do things whether consciously or unconscious through our mind, and our body reacts or does the thing.
Right. He just uses thoughts. So subconscious and conscious thoughts, I think we can figure out where he's talking about in here. We can cut through that if we need to.
And in more books that we will read or that we have already read, we know like there are certain effects in certain areas of the body that are telling you, that are pointing you in the direction of what you probably should be thinking or probably should be checking. Because there are a lot of symptoms
Yeah.
but they're only like I think I'll say a handful of things that get you to the root. And thought is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Where if you just can think in the positive space or the non-negative space, you can make moves forward.
Yeah.
Just like you know this story, the story about the man and the son, and they're in the yard one day, and a horse comes running up, and now they got a new horse, and then people come over and say, "Oh man, you got a good horse. That's
Oh,
good."
yeah.
Hey, we don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah,
right.
something like that. Yeah. Maybe
Something like
good, maybe bad.
Maybe bad, right?
Yeah,
Then the
yeah.
son ends up riding on the horse, falls, breaks his leg, and
Yep.
then the folks come back and say, "Oh man, that's messed up that your son broke his leg." Maybe. Then the army comes in because they're about to go to war and they need to get the young men out, but they can't take him because his leg is broken. The neighbor says, "Oh man, you're lucky that he broke his leg." Maybe. And the story keeps going on and on and on. So it's good to find to me it's good to find the good in the things, and then grow from that.
Yeah.
And it starts with thought.
Yep. I think you need to be able to look at the good in things and understand the even the possible bads in things. I think there's some downsides to a lot of things. And because that's the fullness of life, right? You have to have both sides of the coin so that you can be fully present. So understanding, of course, and this is why it gets a little zen on that, you know, where it is a letting go of like feel the emotion, enjoy the moment, and then be okay with releasing it. And I think that's important for a lot of folks, truthfully, is feeling the emotion, enjoying the moment, releasing it. Feeling the emotion, feeling what you feel is negative, noticing it, but also being able to release it. If you can do that, you'll find yourself much more like that father, because then you start to put it into play. I think this idea of that everything is about ifs and thens. And most of your life, if you think about it, when you thought something was terrible, if that did not occur, then these things would not have occurred. And we can try to be like, oh, I wish, when you think about decisions, you've cut them off. You don't even know what that other trajectory would have taken you. So this is all you know. And you can keep trying to, and you try to fathom what that may be, but you don't know that for certain. Because there could be another little branch of that which have taken you somewhere else, right? From what you had already envisioned. So we just look at it in hindsight that life is about ifs and thens, and then you start to look at the ifs that were great, the bad, the ifs that were bad, that you consider bad. And you go back and forth and you're like, I needed all of those things.
Yep.
So that you can count where you are right now.
And you also said, it made me think of the letting go is crucial, because that's why it manifests. If you don't let that thing out of you,
True.
Your body takes it on.
True.
And I don't think we talk about that enough.
Yeah.
These thoughts about the victim mentality when it comes to things. And I've said this before about brave spaces and safe spaces. Me and my lady, we kind of go back and forth with this. She believes in safe space first. I believe in brave space first, because there's no excuse. You are the only one who can choose to be brave. And a safe space, I can't guarantee. Like, I can say it, but I can't guarantee it. Right now, somebody could kick in this door. Right now, we have an earthquake. Like there are certain things that can happen in nature that we just have no control over.
Right.
And to think that we should have control over all these things tells you something.
Yeah.
Tells you something about the individual and how they think about it.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm in a place of full sovereignty. I believe in my choices being the final thing. And don't get me wrong, I get it. People, I could take this farther out of this. So oppression and being a black man in America, I get all of that. But again, these are all contextual things. These are not contextual. The word I wanted to use was what do you call it when you put something in a box? Construct.
Yeah, construct.
It's a construction. I take it a level above or a level deeper, which is we are spiritual beings in a physical manifested body.
Mhm.
So when someone says that's a black male, I'm looking at it like that's a human first. I start with the human side.
Right on. Right on.
Because if I start there, then there's less there's more similarities than it's more of us uniting than segregating.
That's really good. That's really good. I
You
think when we, oh man, I don't want to. We're gonna hit that chapter soon.
Right. We'll
Because
get,
that's gonna be good. I want to. I think the other part. Oh man, I want to go there.
where is it going? Like well, we don't have to go all the way up.
So there is something about that, but you talked before that about safe and brave spaces.
Yes.
And I think even in my talk, I talk about when we're doing cohort work or anything, it's about having brave then safe. And my reason is, well, one, I always say you got to make sure that many of us need to feel safe to be brave,
Right.
and many of us need to be brave to feel safe. Right? And knowing who's in your space is key.
Okay.
And I think the people that are going to be really successful and are going to be much more resilient are the people that need to be brave first to feel safe. If you are waiting for safety and you're waiting to feel safe, you're delaying your courage in some particular way.
Can I just jump in there?
Yeah.
And I don't want to get religious, but it reminds me of when Jesus knocks at the door, you have to answer it. And I feel like the folks that are waiting for him to come in. And I'm like, there's no way he can come in. You have to allow it. You have to open the door.
That's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this isn't, and for me, I'm talking about more so the consciousness side than the physical person. However, the symbolism of all of that, I just always see that person sitting. I'm sitting here, and someone's knocking at the door, and I'm like, I don't feel safe. But it's like, but if you open that door, that is safety right there. So you have to, and then gets mad. Well, why don't they just come in? Well, at that point, you really put yourself in a quandary because now you're saying anybody can just bust in and bust out. So I think you have to take, again, I think it's more of you take the step.
Yep.
And I'll match you like a 401k. You take your step, I'll take my step.
Right.
You know.
Well, you also have to be in the place where opening the door. I think that's good. The feeling unsafe. Why are you feeling unsafe?
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. You want to establish a safe space, or if you have to feel safe to be brave, that means you're coming into it feeling unsafe. Right? So you come in unsafe, you need something to create safety, then you feel comfortable with being brave. The challenge with that thought is that courage is not comfortable. Okay?
So they want comfort in the courage.
You cannot be comfortable and courageous. It literally, courage has to actually be located or activated in a realm of fear, in a realm of ambiguity, something that's nebulous, the unknown, whatever it may be. It has to be a place where it feels at least unsafe, so that you can use your courage, use your bravery to activate and move through that. Okay? So this is really important. We have too many people, in my personal opinion, that want to feel safe first before they move into courage. Courage will get you through the fearful space
Mm.
so that you can actually feel safe.
Man.
Because the courage, once you've already accomplished something,
Mm-hmm.
you feel more confident being able to do that thing again. Meaning
right.
you feel safe in doing the thing again without a negative consequence.
Right. Or safer.
Safer, at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I'm good. I feel safe. I'm good. You know, we've had these moments. Now, you know, I'm a climber,
Okay.
right? And so when we're doing just certain things, once you've done that, yeah. Now I know folks that are just starting out. You checking everything, you know. But once you've summited first one time, and once you've done a couple of different things, even if we go hiking, once you've done it a couple of different times, yeah, you feel safe. Now you know that's a drop, but you still feel safe because you're confident in your ability, truthfully, to be consistent with your courage.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, and I'm on pause.
And that's having a conversation too.
Yeah,
I know that's going okay because having the conversation.
Yeah.
And what is the conversation? The conversation is the one that you have with yourself. It's the one where you say, "Why?" Like when you were saying, "Why am I scared?
Mm.
What am I fearful of?"
Yep.
Right? Because doubt and fear.
Yep.
They say disintegrates.
Yep.
Your confidence.
For sure.
I think he said because I wrote down disintegrating. And so
that is good. Say that again. Doubt and fear, because he says it's on
he says it, where is it exactly? It's like
I lost my page.
It might have been in the thought and purpose thing, which will take us over there anyway.
Okay.
Yep, doubts and fears should be rigorously excluded. They are disintegrating elements which break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crooked, ineffectual, useless.
Yeah.
Thoughts of doubt and fear never accomplished anything and never can.
Yeah.
They always lead to failure.
Yep.
Now, he said that, but he also said this. Because I was like, wait, that's interesting that he said that. Because it could be considered contradictory. Hold on, I wrote it down in my note here, which was he said, what a man's hold on. He says, Alan says, to begin to think with purpose is to enter the ranks of those strong ones who only recognize failure as one of the pathways to attainment.
Ifs and thens.
Right. So again, you go.
No, that's all I got. I'm just amen.
So when he mentions failure before, he says, now that you know that this is failure, like everything can be brought back to failure, or you recognize failure as one of the pathways to attainment, which means I failed here, and it's like, okay, that's fine. I can now continue to move forward.
Yeah.
When he tells you fears and doubts lead you to failure, what he's saying is, don't do that then, because you already know that path is where that path is going to lead. One way you could take it. Another way you could take it is that since he said, well, I'm going to fail anyway, and that's going to help lead me to attainment. As I'm fearing and as I'm doubting, I can learn to take away fears and doubts along the way. I may not have the same amount.
Yeah.
I might be this fearful. Now I'm this fearful. Now I'm this fearful. Now I'm this fearful to the point to where it's out of my life. Now I'm this doubtful.
Yeah.
I'm this doubtful. I'm this doubtful.
Yeah.
So,
courage is ever iterating. If we think about it, right? The first iPhone, you go back and check that thing out today. Oh, it's trash. It is. Compared to the 14, 15, whatever y'all are on right now. It's not now.
I think it's 14.
We're at 14.
I think so.
Y'all about to get hit with another $1,000 in a second. It's time. So anyway, so courage is ever iterating if you are intentional, as even as James talks about. I think you being intentional toward a particular purpose. This is why I don't think it's conflicting, because in one way in one sentence we're talking about ultimate failure, and then in the other way we're looking at failing.
Okay.
Right? Failure and failing are not the same thing in my book.
So a different degree.
Yeah. So failing is a part of process.
Right.
Failing is a part of life.
Right.
Failure is a state.
Mm. Okay. And a state of mind too. Now that you say that. Okay.
Failure is a state, right?
Mm.
And so failing in what he's saying is basically, it's kind of like the iteration of the iPhone. The first version, it's not good. But think about the versions before that that didn't even make it to production. You have to iterate, and which means you have to make small steps, fail at not the optimal, but you're getting toward that. And usually, this is one thing that psychologically we have to keep in mind too for your goals and all those things. Your first iteration is probably not the best. You could think about that for your business. I don't want to go there, but you can go anywhere in your life. Your first iteration is usually not the best. And I know my parents used to say, go with your first mind. Nope, don't do that. You can write it down, but the first version is just for you to get started. The first version is just for you to get started.
Right.
Then you iterate off of that.
Just like this podcast. Yeah.
Just like this podcast. Our first episode, it was good. I think this episode's better.
Yeah.
And
then 10 down the road,
10 down the
road,
and you're going to be like, man, episode 237, it's going to be crazy.
Right.
So I think those are things that you have to keep in mind. Courage, it's always iterating. And you have to move in those spaces where you can always iterate. You are not the same person as 2 weeks ago, hopefully. Something has changed in your mind. You've gotten new information. You've had a new experience. Just by waking up that morning. So I want you to just keep that in mind. The first thoughts are not necessarily the best. So you are always moving from failure to failure, but it's like going up and down in a valley.
Right.
You're gonna have mountaintops and valley moments. Failing is just at the bottom. You keep on moving, and it'll keep iterating. Now, failure is staying in the valley and saying, "Oh man, I wish I can get to that mountaintop, but I know that I'm gonna stay and keep failing. I'm gonna stay right here." And if you have stopped moving, if you stop iterating, then your state will be failure. So I think that's what he's saying.
And that goes back to the wait. That goes back to that waiting.
That's true.
Thing
That's
where
true.
I'm waiting for safety. I'm waiting for it to come to me.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to you, you still have to make the first step. Like you still have to grab it.
Yep.
You still have to take some type of accountability there. You were saying something, you sound just like Neil deGrasse Tyson. As you were saying it, failure. I don't got his voice yet. I'm gonna get Neil.
Okay.
Get his impression. But that brings us into thought and purpose.
Cool.
In the first sentence, his first sentences is like if James Allen was a rapper, he'd be having like the best first lines.
Yeah. First off,
right.
You're like, wait, whoa. Okay. Yeah.
P-I-G-P-O-P-P-A.
Yeah, these are good. These are good. Those good first lines. Yes, absolutely. All right, hit them.
Who high, who not. All right. So until thought is linked with purpose, there's no intelligent accomplishment. There it is. And that's the first sentence. And I keep going. With the majority, the bark, as in tree bark, of thought is allowed to drift upon the ocean of life. Aimlessness is a vice, and such drifting must not continue for him who would steer clear for catastrophe and destruction. Yeah. I noticed my niece is spending the night with us for the past week. It's summertime, so my girls all be together. Then McKinley coming too. Got Chloe anyway and Trina. Anyway, so I be going out. So every day I ask, what y'all got up? What's happening? What y'all gonna do? What y'all doing? What's happening? What y'all gonna do? What's happening? And they'll have a plan.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Now they do, because if they don't, I got one for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm gonna get you going in a direction.
Can you hold that thought?
Yeah,
that's something to keep in mind. If you don't have a plan for your life, somebody else will take the plan and make it for you.
Right.
If you don't have a plan for your life, someone else will make the plan for you.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yep. And that's why I do like different groups. I feel like, do I want to go in that way? because I was gonna say the Nation of Islam,
Okay.
the Baptists, and I could say Christians in general, but I'm saying in my neighborhood, when people don't have their own way of going,
Yeah.
go to church, go somewhere. That's where I'm at with it. Just get some type of learning of something, some type of basis to get you in the right, in aligned thought. Because whether you're religious or not, I think it organizes you in a way and puts you together in a way that you can succeed in life, and then fly off if you need to. I'm not saying you have to go to a building to get knowledge and to get structured. But what I am saying, it helps you to organize your own life.
See.
But anyway, going back to what I was saying, yeah. So the thought to me is the ship. Is the ship, and purpose is the compass. So purpose helps direct you. For example, if you know that you want to take care of your family, so you have to go to work, and tonight you can either go out and party or you can go home and get some rest. Now, if you don't have any purpose, which is to take care of my family, then maybe you just want to go out, going back to, ooh, this drink gonna be good. I'm gonna feel good. I'm gonna feel great. I'm gonna feel like shit in the morning.
Yeah.
I tell you that much. If you go all out.
Yeah.
So, but the intention or the purpose in this case leads you to say, let me go home and get ready for tomorrow. Let me prepare for tomorrow. So I feel like that's the roadmap to getting you to where you want to go. And that's a small step in becoming whoever you are attempting to be. I think one of my goals is to be a tycoon, right? And in my definition of tycoon is someone who has a lot of money, but also has a lot of influence. And I can help those that I choose to help, and I can make movements that I choose to make. But it starts like here, giving my ideas to those who can then say, hey, man, I agree with him, or I disagree. And then we have a conversation. And so my purpose, and I'm not saying my purpose is to be the tycoon. My purpose is to enlighten not only myself, but others, so that we can grow and build. I don't know. I don't want it to be, and that's another thing. When I was like, hey, what is my purpose?
You could say grow and build. I mean, grow and build is still a good, you can stay there. The main thing is that we always have to have, so purpose and intention, I always kind of, put those together. If you have, because you're moving with purpose, you're moving with intention, your decisions are based upon the intention that you've set. Your decisions are based upon the purpose that you believe that you're in. And if you are in alignment, so hopefully if you can get all of your thoughts, your actions, behaviors, all those habits, even your emotions align with what your attention is going to be or your purpose is, then you're going to be in a totally different place than a lot of folks.
That made me think ducks in a row. Get all your...
You got to get the ducks in a row, right? You got to get the ducks in a row. As a matter of fact, one of the challenges of so priorities and purpose are key. Like you talking about, like, I got to get stuff done. Like I can go out tonight, or I can get prepared for tomorrow. Okay. That's all depends upon what you feel your priorities are.
True.
Right?
True that.
And if the priority is the hedonic moment,
right?
And well, that your way of life is about like living for now. Now, this is not challenging, living for the moment, being present, and so on.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, it can create conflict in you if you are only living for the moment and not necessarily just saying being present in the moment. This is not the same thing. We can go into that deeper, but we're almost at the end of our episode.
Right.
I want you to think about priorities and how they affect your decision making, how that affects basically what goals you're going to have. Okay. So if you're not doing that and you're not considering, because most folks don't know what I would say. The reason I tell people don't do New Year's resolutions is because most folks don't know what their priorities are. They think they know what their priorities are, but that's based upon basically what they desire for, not necessarily what they made decisions to do. Your decisions to do certain things are more telling of your priorities than your desires that you've written down and put on a poster board somewhere, or what you've told your people. Your priorities are basically telling you and leading you to a particular purpose, whether you are conscious of those things or not.
Right. Ooh. Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So you get into these spaces, we always focus on your priorities. Your priorities are based upon your beliefs. Your priorities are based upon your values. Your priorities are based upon the thoughts that you have circulating in your mind all the time.
Right.
Right? Your priorities are based upon, and so your priorities are all in that space, in which how you define life, how you've identified yourself. All of those things kind of come in from that place, and then that goes from there. So sometimes it's we talk about priorities and purpose always connect, and sometimes we think we're doing one thing,
right, right,
not so much,
and it comes back to I can look at you and possibly get a read on where you are physically. Like if you're sweating a lot, or like your skin is bad, or like you're walking with, and everything all right, everything cool, okay, just making.
The other part of that is you can look. I mean, one of the things I try to push is like I can look at. So, where do you spend your time? Where do you spend your resources? Where do you spend your energy?
Okay,
that tells me where your priorities are. That tells you where your priorities are. Track your day. Track your weeks. Like I said, I was, I looked at early in the episode, I talked about, me having a change in mood. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Right.
So I changed something. I need to look at the pattern. I changed my diet a little bit. That's what it is. So I was spending my resources. Where was I spending my money? I was spending my money here. Right. And that connected to me eating this. Right. And then that changed. And then, there it is. So I'm looking, all I did was look at my bank account.
Right.
And you see him pulling out. But those are key. Where do you spend your time? Where do you spend your resources? And where do you spend your energy? That tells you what your priorities are. That tells you what your proclivities are. That tells you what your habits are, that even your subconscious, that you're subconscious of or conscious of. And it's leading you to a particular purpose that you may say you like or may not. Just track it, and then you can make a decision.
I think we should end on that.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Man. Yeah. Close us out then, man. I don't know. I'll go for it, man.
He said, thought allied fearlessly
Yeah.
to purpose becomes creative force.
That's good, man.
He who knows this is ready to become something higher and stronger than a mere bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensations. He who does this has become the conscious and intelligent wielder of his mental power.
If you didn't do the funky face as he read that, I need you to read that again.
With that funky face,
you got to do. When I hear that, I can't help but go funky face.
Like, so you want to hear the whole last paragraph?
No, the last sentence.
He who does this has become the conscious and intelligent wielder of his mental power.
Yeah, that's good.
Man,
it's good.
I see Dr. Strange doing this thing.
What is it? Yeah.
Yep. Somebody been practicing.
Maybe. Somebody might want to send me the gifts. I need that eye. You know what I'm saying? I will wear it. Yeah, I'll wear it. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is good.
This is a good episode, man.
This feels good to me.
Yeah.
So, any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, anything? Like, we're here for the dialogue.
Absolutely.
Again, I have As a Man Thinketh, this one, James Allen, by James Allen. Go out and get it. It's like $5.
Yeah, it's a short read, and you can find it online too.
Yeah, so, for free.
I'd use my small device, my digital device here. But yeah, go for it.
Cool beans. Well, I'm Goose.
I'm Trey.
And we out.
Peace.
I don't know why that came up.
I don't know.
Man, so as I